All right, thank you so much for joining us here at the First Alert Desk. We're back with another weekly segment of a Restaurant Report Card, a little behind the scenes. You have went to some interesting restaurants this week, one that did really well, and another that had some concerning safety violations.
Yeah, the one that had some concerns, and I'll just start by saying, boy, that's not good. You know, this place had some real issues. In fact, a 43 and a U. Okay, this is out of 100, right? The U stands for unsatisfactory. I'm surprised that some of these violations existed in this restaurant. We're going to talk about that. But this was 7 Tequilas Mexican restaurant, and they're on Holly Springs Parkway, and that's in Woodstock. So the 43 and the U. On the report, you know, I keep a little sheet here. I have the inspection. You'll see a 43, and then I make myself some notes. And I take this with me when I actually walk into the restaurant. It just makes it easier because the fine print you'll see on the report can be very difficult to read, especially at my age. And when you're trying to read it, it's easier if you make some notes. And I walk in, I ask for a manager, and that's exactly what we did. It said in the report that they had spinach sitting out at room temperature. Substantial black mold was in the ice machine. This one gets me. An abundance of live roaches seen in the ice machine, near the steam table, and on the floors.
Wow, that's definitely intense, especially if you're a customer who has visited a restaurant like that before. You actually got to go in and show us a little bit of that. Let's play that video.
Hi friends, it's Thanksgiving 2.0, and now that you've stretched your stomachs, it's time to fill them back up again. I got the spot for you. We're at the Cherokee Chophouse on Canton Road in Marietta, formerly the Cherokee Cattle Company. They rebranded. They're open for dinner now at 4 o'clock, and in that kitchen they are preparing a feast right under that wood-burning grill. It's amazing. There are so many dishes to choose from. It'll have your head spinning and your belly's full. And one of the things I love, they bring out that bone-in ribeye sizzling to your table, slice it right before you. That's mouth-watering. There's a lot to talk about. Let's get right to it. Here's this week's Best and Worst Scores. On Holly Springs Parkway in Woodstock, this Mexican restaurant isn't exactly in good standing with the health department. 7 Tequilas failed with 43 points and a U for unsatisfactory. The report says spinach was sitting out at room temperature. Plus, there was substantial mold on the interior of the ice machine. And there was an abundance of live roaches seen in the ice machine, near the steam table and on the floor. What the heck is going on with these roaches everywhere?
So correct. Unfortunately, we did have some roaches that day that whenever she showed up, we took action. Aerial came, bombed the place. You guys are more than welcome to come and check the kitchen out.
Moments later, the manager, Luis Ortiz, took us into the kitchen and showed us how he'd eliminated the roach problem.
Live roaches were not near inside the ice machine. They were crawling from the back of the machine.
Ortiz told us they've been in business for 20 years and never received a score this low. He also said they corrected all of the violations. So the first thing I notice when I walk in here is I don't see the health score. Where is it?
Health score. It should be over there. We don't have it posted. Apologize for that.
Okay, yeah, that's a violation right there.
So we can definitely.
Is that it sitting up there face
that's
down?
it.
And maybe you can set that out for people?
I mean, yeah, of course. 3 is not something that my customers or people from Holly Springs want to see. We do feel that we let them down.
Now to some other scores. In DeKalb County, Sweet Potato Cafe on Manor Drive in Stone Mountain picked up 93 points. In Fulton County, Jay Christopher's on Windward Plaza in Alpharetta scored a 97. And in Cobb County, Macklin Wings and More on Marietta Street in Powder Springs corrected all violations on a prior failing inspection, earning 100 points. And back here at the Cherokee Chophouse on Canton Road in Marietta, they received a 100 on their last health inspection. Congratulations, they are the winner of this week's Golden Spatula Award. All right, let's get to the feast. Over here, you can start out with a wedge salad with the blue cheese crumbles. They also have the crab cakes on the menu. As far as soups go, potato soup right there, French onion soup. You can enjoy the lamb chops on the menu, the luau steak. They also have the salmon and greens. Look at the size of that pork chop over the mashed potatoes. And how about that bone-in ribeye? Doesn't that look delicious? That's going to do it for this week, guys. Can't come to a steakhouse and not try the bone-in ribeye. We'll see you all next week. Oh, I got to dip it in there a little bit, huh? Boy, that's good.
It looks good. Now I'm hungry.
That's awesome. I really like that ending. A very classic Adam Murphy style. Congratulations to Cherokee Chophouse.
Yes.
But let's take a minute and talk about 7 Tequilas. Some interesting discoveries there.
Yeah, I mean, again, you know, a 43 to you is very concerning. They had a lot of problems. You saw that. I mean, the roaches being probably the biggest concern that I found on the report. Also, food sitting out at a room temperature is not good. That can cause cross-contamination, substantial mold. All of these things add up, and they're significant because you start losing 5, 9 points here or there, and man, you're sitting in the 40s.
Yeah.
Now, we have to give credit to the manager of the restaurant, because I've been in a lot of restaurants, and when we walk in, the idea is not to embarrass them or for me to make them look bad. I want them to learn from it. I want to make sure that they're actually improving upon it. And I thought this manager handled this exceptionally well. He owned up to it, which was great, and said, here's what we've done to get better. They brought in the pest control company. They bombed the restaurant. He said, let me show you. I'll take you to the kitchen. And sure enough, I didn't see any roaches in the kitchen and around the ice machine. You saw that in the report. So I feel pretty good about that, you know, and I thought the manager of 7 Tequilas Mexican restaurant, like I said, handled this exceptionally well.
And let's talk about that more. That is not an easy thing to do, especially with a camera present, and definitely not a common experience you've had in the past. I mean, you and I were talking about the interactions you've had over the years that you've done these restaurant report cards, and I think that's the interesting part of, you know, going behind the scenes, is getting a perspective of you going in,
Yes.
and the reaction is oftentimes not something you can expect or anticipate.
Yeah, and you never know what's going to happen. You know, I have a gut feeling when I walk in a restaurant. You go with your gut. Like I said, I'm not there to cause drama. We just want to know if it's been corrected, make sure the public is safe when they dine there. And, you know, you just never know. I mean, this guy handled it very well. Sometimes people aren't as nice and they want to get rid of us as quickly as possible. And as soon as we're asked to leave, we leave. But we try to make it clear to them that we're there because we want to give them a voice. All of this information is public information. Anybody can find it, and they're supposed to have the score up, unless I catch you with the score down like I did in this report. But they're supposed to have that up posted, and you can ask for that when you walk in a restaurant. Should be posted, the score, within 10 feet of the front door in public view. They had it face down, you saw. And so I had to call him out on it. I had to ask him, you know, why it's not posted. He went up, found it, said, I'm sorry, I apologize, it should be, and then he put it back up.
And let's talk about, you know, being aware of that. I know since talking to you and following your restaurant report cards, I found myself as a customer looking out for those health scores, and it's pretty interesting what you end up seeing. But at the end of the day, it's a peace of mind for you, especially if you're eating food that will, you know, essentially go into your body. That's a health concern. Let's talk about the winner, because as much as you catch these violations, you do also a great job of highlighting businesses that are working hard to meet those standards.
Yeah, and that's what's great about this segment. And you know, when I began this more than 15 years ago, it was very important for me to have that balance in this report. Just like a report card, you may have some good scores, you may have some bad scores. And we celebrate the good scores. And we let folks know, you know, these restaurants, we let them know, hey, you do well, let us know, we'll come out and highlight you, because I know how hard that is in the restaurant industry. Now, we have a graphic we can show here kind of talking about what makes the Cherokee Chophouse a good score this week, and you know, a golden spatula winner. You'll see right there they had impeccable cleanliness throughout the restaurant as well as in the kitchen. Food is cooked properly at the right temperatures. Nobody's going to get sick, and therefore, as a result, they are this week's Golden Spatula Award winner. And we're happy to give that award out. We don't give that many out, and restaurateurs, they love it, and they should, and they celebrate it, and it's
and display it proudly.
Yeah, they do. It's really cool. So you can look for a golden spatula when you go out to dine. You know, if it's hanging in the restaurant, you have a good feeling. I mean, it's dated. You'll see when they got it. Doesn't mean they're always perfect, but it does mean they've reached a very high level, and you're probably in pretty darn good hands.
And let's talk about the follow-ups you do, because it's not just a one and done. These businesses, much like the one we just discussed, they go back and they try to make their corrections. So any follow-ups from some recent reports?
I do. In fact, it's a really good one to tell you about. So a couple of weeks ago, right before Thanksgiving, we actually talked about this restaurant, which is Macklin Wings and More, Marietta Street, Powder Springs. They scored a 42 and a U a couple of weeks ago. That's when I made my initial report. Well, I had my eye on them to see if they would follow up, and look what they did. 100 in an A. That is absolute perfection on a follow-up inspection. They were mentioned in this week's report. I didn't drag them through the mud. We just gave them their props for getting things on track, and they're in good shape now.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And congratulations to them. That takes a lot of work, but all worth it for the customer, right?
Yes, indeed.
So I know we always end these segments with a little special catchphrase.
You can join us.
I want you guys to join us, say it back to us, but we're going to try it in our new camera, if you can with me. You're going to look that way.
All right, where's
Ready?
the new camera? The OTT desk is looking even better and better. We've got multiple cameras here. Let's turn the camera here. Can you punch it up?
1, 2, 3.
Three.
Boy, that's good. Thanks for tuning in, guys.